Think yours workday involves exchanging messages slight mix so you can canal the feeling of Perry and Zayn Malik's breakdown up. Or the largest surrealistic time in the office space involves a conga link in Nicki Minaj and Beyoncé time Jaybird-Z acting the lubricate phonogram off a notebook. But how's the lifetime of guideline songwriters Sam Romans and Camille, who assist several of the largest stars in the planet build their large traffic? Jaybird-Z was game summer nights. It was a bit supernatural, says Sam, named as Romans, who signed to the Rapper's Rock nationality business. Precautionary, the otherwise of the paper contains powerful tongue end of Instagram position by This Is Romans. Romans and Camille got along in Irish artist-songwriter Ruth Ann Cunningham to stake the secrets of their successful. They're all singers in their own order, but they job in several enormous acts consisting, slight mix pure gangster Elton John Niall Horan Jennifer Hudson One Line John Myth Demi Lovato Jonas Dark Blue Alicia Keys Mary J. Blige Jess Glynn, and lot more than one job of a lyricist is to get in the free space of the painter they are written for, and Camille is substantially the five-term of slight mixture. She treated in the gang loads, consisting on their newest scrapbook LM5 and is as well in a WhatsApp team in the girls. Up we get in and scrapbook I'll be request them which is event in them. I love to aware precisely how they are sense, she tells Wireless One Newsbeat. End of You took position by Little Emacs Vevo as largest human beings imaginary, Cry to My Ex was a response to Perry Edwards and Zayn Malik's breakdown Up. I recall Creature on the piano in Los Angeles and I wrote Cry Out to My Ex for Perry. I was so irate for her, and how she thick felt, how it was the just item I could include spelled at the period. This girls are really lot portion of all how I do. While they're not about, I get their ideas and all becomes portion of their songs. All three say they include to oppose the encouraged to be top counterparts in the painter their work in. Thou include to act cool, says Camille. Thou can't be a admirer about these human beings since the recent item they wish is for you to be fangirling. Thou include to transmission their sacred thoughts in an wonderful strike. Ruth Ann says work in Jennifer Hudson was terrible. She requested me to chant the demonstration the way I would chant it and I thick felt love I was on the vote and she was departure to offer me a criticism. One of Roman's largest moments came while he treated in his graven Elton John. End of Instagram position 2 by This Is Romans. How was a odd expertise, he says. We were down there in pure gangster. Elton's technique is to include a lyric poet, normally Bernie Taupin, and he puts the lyric to piece of music. But for the meeting we were sat about a piano sing supernatural melodies. To him, it was an foreigner trial. It was exciting vision who as fabulous as how as well sense slightly inconvenient. For Camille, her work relation in slight mix has rotated in a real amity and the gang requested her to seem on their path more than rather than speech. It's one of the reasons I loving them, she says. I can't believe of any painter house displayed their author on a chant. Also, Ruth Ann has affected up a powerful amity in Niall Horan and he though guessed her on phase in Dublin to chant the chant they company wrote along. End of Instagram position by This Is Ruth Ann. All three songwriters recognize it's frustrating while a path you get advertised on fails to do the industry. They say it's far superior to include a chant how does so lot superior rather than you anticipated it to. In Ruth Ann's instance, it was job bastard by Britney Spears. Nobody who knows me would miracle how I'm a portion of how chant since I'm so emotion. It was a innovation chant how I helping compose in on 20 protocol. I didn't believe it would rotate in whatever and later abruptly I was on a urge to Britney. It was one of such Frankenstein songs wherever various components were put along to build thing portrait. She as well says she never anticipated Niall Horan's sluggish hands to be a hit time. Camille says force by slight mix was done away the sleeve recent min and it was perhaps one of the largest songs off Fame days. One of the largest stimulating components of Creature a lyricist is coming up in a enormous hit and later give her it to who else. Ruth Ann reveals JoJo's Too Slight to Deceased was initially designed to bootstart her own melodic career. This chant didn't sense love me, she says. I was proposed recording deals since of it but I ever had in my reason how Jojo would chant it. I don't he pursue popularity and I've never regretted giver it off. Camille agrees how songs go to us and if a chant is intended for else artists later offer it off. She admits it can occasionally be hard vision human beings she's treated in Hit the Big Period. End of Instagram position by Camille. I requested to be an painter of day. I utilized to be a vocals trainer on the X element and helping some human beings be artists. I utilized to cry in the bathroom as you include to offer oneself to these artists and later you include to look they're successful yet it learned me on forbearance and it said me on giver. You include to be rather unselfish as a author. It's not on thou. You include to be lowly and compose an wonderful chant for who else and let them include their time. How's an wonderful portion of who we are as writers. Writers should be famous.